What's going on, guys? My name's Citizen Newtown, and welcome back to another Call of Duty Search and Destroy gameplay from me here today. And what you guys are watching is another Call of Duty Ghost gameplay. I know it's gross and ugly and feels awful, but I ended up going 17-1 in 4 rounds using the USR sniper rifle, getting a bunch of sniper kills, getting a bunch of pistol kills, and getting a bunch of kill streak kills. So enjoy all of that. But I know I've given you the Ebola by watching this video, and speaking of Ebola, I want to talk about everything and anything you might need to know about the Ebola virus, just kind of in the general sense, so you guys know what you're dealing with. Because I know there's been a lot of incorrect dissemination of information, so people have just been saying stuff that's based off rumors, based off of things that they heard from other people. And I want to make sure that you guys hear information and get information that has been verified and gone through reputable sources. So right now, I'm on the Mayo Clinic website, a very respectable medical website and hospital. And I'm going to go over all the information that they've posted about Ebola and hopefully answer some of the questions that you guys might have had and may have not personally sought out. So let's start off with what is Ebola. So Ebola virus and the Marburg virus, which is a kind of lesser version of it, like a milder strain, are viruses that are related to hemorrhagic fever. So basically bleeding and a fever combined, so things like severe bleeding or hemorrhages, organ failure, and in many cases death. So these are mostly native to Africa and have spread out during outbreaks during the last few decades. So mostly these viruses live in animal hosts, and humans can contract the virus from infected animals. This can be from improper butchering, where the blood kind of spills on to someone who's cutting the animal meat, or by improper cooking methods where the animal isn't cooked to a medium well kind of range where most viruses die. And that's, if you're wanting to be most safe about cooking your meat, go to medium well, which I believe is like 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's random fact. So right now no drug has been approved to treat the virus, and they're currently trying to go through the stages of making a vaccine or some sort of way to combat the disease. Right now it's like a 90% chance of fatality if you have contracted the virus, so generally just want to avoid it. So some of the symptoms of the Ebola virus in the early stages include fever, severe headaches, joint and muscle aches, chills, and weakness. And over time, it becomes increasingly severe and may include other symptoms such as nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, which may be bloody, red eyes, raised rashes, chest pain and cough, severe weight loss, bleeding, usually from the eyes, and occasionally from other things like ears, nose, and rectum, and internal bleeding. So some of these causes are because like the infected animals such as African monkeys, chimps, and non-human primates may contract this strain, and they also may contract the Marburg virus, which has been found in fruit bats in Africa as well. Mostly this has started from transmission from animals to human, so one of the main reasons is blood. So butchering of the infected animals can't spread the virus. Scientists who have also operated on infected animals as part of research have potentially contracted the virus, as well as through some of the animal waste products. Tourists in certain African caves and underground mines have been infected with the Marburg virus through contamination of bat feces or urine. And then once it's being contracted by a person, it can be transmitted from person to person. And these infected people typically don't become contagious until they develop symptoms, the initial symptoms, which usually takes between 5 to 10 days. Family members are often included as they try to take care of their sick relatives or prepare their dead relatives for burial. Medical personnel may also be infected if they do not use protective gear such as surgical masks and gloves. Often in medical centers in Africa, the centers are so poor that they can't afford to sanitize and sterilize their equipment, so needles and syringes can be infected by transmitting different bodily fluids and other liquids. So moving on to the risk factors. So make sure that you're very prepared if you have to travel to Africa. You're at increased risk of being in areas where the Ebola virus or Marburg virus has been in an outbreak. If you conduct animal research, people who work with non-human primates or extreme must use extreme caution. And if you provide medical care or provide a burial, sorry, Jesus Christ, I can't even talk, for someone who has been infected, you got to be sure you are extra protective, use protective gear, and have surgical masks and gloves and all sorts of stuff, and avoid any bodily fluid exchange. Any other complications from this disease include organ failure, severe bleeding, jaundice, delirium, seizures, coma, and shock, as well as some other things from people who have survived it and regained the weight and fluid loss. Include some things like hair loss, sensory changes, liver inflammation, weakness, headaches, eye inflammation, and testicular inflammation. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know about Ebola. Make sure if you have been to Africa or worked with animals and have contracted a fever to immediately go to your doctor and make sure that you are safe and you don't contract anyone else. But that's it for me. My name's Citizen Newtown, and I am signing out. Peace, guys.